Welcome back, everyone. As you just seen, we just put another coat of paint on the manifold for the 1940 Farmall A. And got a little bit of time to kill in the shop tonight. I've been tinkering on it a little bit. As you can see, the fan is off of it. We was going to put the fan belt on a couple nights ago and discovered that the fan bushings, I don't even think there's bushings in there actually, but where the shaft went through for the fan, it had a lot of slop in it. And so I got online, done a bunch of research, looking to see about how to rebuild that. And everything I saw points to, don't mess trying to rebuild it, just replace it. And the new style fans have sealed ball bearings in them. I pulled that one apart, and it was, well, one, it was different than any other fan assembly that I've seen in forums or on YouTube or anything like that, probably hence being an early model tractor. And two, it had been ran with no oil in it. I mean, when I pulled it apart over there on the bench, a little puddle of oil about that big around came out of it. It was dry. And no telling how many years it's ran like that. So as much as I hate to, I'm just going to order from Steiner's or Yesterday Tractor somewhere, order one of the new style fan assemblies for it. It'll be fine. The only thing is those new fans, they have two pulleys, one for the fan belt and one for the generator belt. And as you know, this tractor does not have a generator on it. There's no electric system. So it's going to have an extra pulley there that's not going to be used, but that's okay. It's, as much as I'd like to go back to factory perfect on this, I just want to get it up and running so we can play with it and enjoy it. So we've got the manifold painted, as you can see. I painted it with some Rust-Oleum high heat black paint. I know most of them, I think, probably were red when they came from the factory. But I like the look of the black better. I know it's not right, but I like the look of it better. And with it being high heat paint, maybe it won't burn off of there and that new manifold won't just turn to rust like most of them do. So I'll probably put one more coat on it before I leave tonight and let it dry for a couple days. And a friend of mine here in town, he's got a powder coating business. And I was reading on the can for that paint, and it says, what does it say here? Yeah, required for surfaces that exceed 500 degrees. After paint is fully dried, heat to 450 degrees for 1 hour. So I talked to my buddy earlier, and he said after the paint was dry and everything, bring that manifold by, and he would fire up his powder coating oven, crank it up to 450 degrees, and heat cure that for me. So that's where we're at on that. I did, well, since I had the fan off, I went ahead and made a new gasket for the upper water outlet. I need to order a new lower radiator outlet for it. As you can see, this one has a cork plug shoved in it. I'm pretty sure that's not factory. I can't see any signs of threads in that hole, but I can't see them using a cork plug, and everything I've seen in parts manuals and everything shows a threaded plug in there. So I've located one of them on eBay. Tomorrow's payday, and order that and order a few more things for it. Well, actually, I think that's the only thing I need to order for the A. Still looking for a radiator. I found a couple. They want a lot of money for them original old style radiators, but probably get one of them ordered and coming as well. Like I mentioned in the last video, I thought about taking these two up to the radiator shop and seeing if we could make it work, but I think I found 2 or 3 of them. I'll just order the right radiator, and when it gets here, if it has to be recored or whatever, I'll take it up there and have him recore it. So yeah, that's about it for the A right now. Just kind of at a standstill waiting on some parts. So when that manifold, when I get it back after Mark powder coats it and everything, or powder coats it, excuse me, blah, after he gets it heat cured, bakes it for an hour in his oven, then I'll put it on. We can go ahead and put the muffler on and all that. And I don't know, I might stick that other radiator I've got on here for now and just fill it with water just so we can fire it up and make sure it'll run. No reason why I don't think it should, but at least then we can hear it run, maybe take it out and drive it around a little. I need to go. I've got the oil filter here for it. It does not have any oil in it at the moment. I keep forgetting. I keep bringing the wrong pickup out here. I've got oil for it behind the seat of my feed pickup, but I've been bringing one of the others out the last few nights. So haven't got any oil put in it yet, but I need to get that oil filter put in, fill it full of oil, and I need to go to town this weekend and get gear oil for the rear end and the final drives. I'm going to go ahead and drain them, flush them out real good. I've got new final drive gaskets that I ordered for it. Most of the time I just make my own gaskets, but I was ordering stuff from Steiner the other night and I seen them there, so I just clicked on them and ordered them. And they weren't too awful expensive, so I need to set the valve lash before we try to start it. I got a feeling it's probably pretty close just by feeling of them, but I can go ahead and get the feeler gauges out and set all that. So that's kind of an update on Roger's 1940 Model A. Oh, and I need to get a tube put in that right front tire. I've aired it up 2 or 3 times. It'll go flat in about a day. It's a brand new tire, and it's tube type, and they mounted it tubeless, so that's probably why it won't hold air. But I've got that same size tire that's on my C and a couple others we've had out here, so I've got tubes for them over here on the shelf. I just haven't got around to jacking it up, taking it off, putting a tube in. I work in a tire shop 7 or 5 days a week, 8 to 9 hours a day, Monday through Friday. So when I get off work, messing with the tire is the last thing I want to do. But anyway, tonight while we're out here at the shop, we're waiting on that paint to dry, throw one more coat on it. We're going to jump over to another little project that I need to get going. The A is just kind of a play toy, you know. It's just something to play around with. But that 41M in the background, you guys remember that tractor we did a Will It Start video on it when we bought it. That did really well. And I brought it out here after we got it running. I loaded it up, hauled it out here, and pulled it in the shop. Didn't do nothing with it. We started it right before Christmas last year, I think it was. And about a month before, we started it, pulled it outside. My sister came out with my niece and decorated it up for Christmas. And we done Christmas pictures with the tractor and the cows for my niece. And then we took our Christmas pictures with it and had Christmas cards made and sent out to everybody as well. And after that, we took all the decorations off of it. I started it, backed it in the shop, and it has sat right there ever since. But we've got a bunch of mowing we need to get done. We like to mow the pasture every year, or a big chunk of it, before winter. One, kind of helps, in my opinion anyway, it kind of helps kill some of the weeds off. I mowed 2 or 3 terraces out here south of the shop last year, and all the rain come in the spring, and we had pretty good grass out there, and there wasn't near as much sagebrush and weeds as what there was the year before. I did the same thing with our pasture in town. And normally I use the C for that, but as you can see on the bench behind me, we haven't made much progress on that. I've been looking for a machine shop close by that I can take the block and the crank and the head and all that to get it all checked over and looked at. And I'm sure that crank's going to have to be turned. And I hadn't found anybody close by yet that's not a 5 or 6 hour drive away to take all that stuff to. So the C has just kind of been sitting here kind of in the way, really, but we work around it. And we've got the 51WD that I think Courtney's going to get on this year, and I've got a 3-point brush beater that we picked up for it. and she's going to do some mowing with it, but I need to get my thumb to work here, get that tractor running, and I can hook my pole type up to it and help her mow, and we can knock it out a lot faster, because we've got probably 70 or 80 acres altogether that we'd like to mow this year if we can. So I need to get that going. If you guys remember when we bought it, the carburetor leaked real bad. I pulled the carburetor off of it a few months ago, and it had a big old crack inside on the casting, right there around where the float goes. And so that's probably why it was leaking gas out of the bottom of it. So I hunted around. A friend of mine, we stopped over and visited with him the other day, and checked out a W9 that he'd been working on. He had a good M carburetor on his shelf in his shop, so I bought it from him, and he'd get the kit ordered for it, give it a bath in our ultrasonic cleaner, and get it put back together. I also discovered that the exhaust and intake manifold on that tractor had a big old gaping hole in the back of it. Probably why it wasn't running real good either that day. But so I salvaged the intake and exhaust off Lieutenant Dan when we parted him out and put on there. And if you guys remember from that video when we first got it running, at first I thought it had a knock in it, but it ended up being the water pump was pretty well shot, bearings in it and everything. So I've got the water pump on the bench here beside me right now. We're fixing to tear into it and see if we can get it all pulled apart. I've already ordered the bearings and seals for it. Got them from our local Napa. They came in yesterday, I think. They're sitting in the hutch on my toolbox at work. But I've already got new bearings and new seals for it, but I need to pull it all apart, clean it all up, and get ready to put all that in. And then I've got new radiator hoses and clamps for it. I actually bought them for another M I had 4 years ago and never got around to doing it. Ended up selling that tractor. But I've already got them. I'm going to order, hopefully tomorrow. Again, tomorrow's payday. And hopefully I can order the new fan belt and new generator belt for it. That tractor actually, I got to looking, I thought it was still 6 volt. But it's got a generator on it that's actually been converted to 12 volts. So I'm kind of hoping it works. I never checked it to see if it was doing anything. I just assumed it was 6 volt. And we disconnected the wires off the top of it and just started it with a battery, 12 volt battery, to get it on the trailer that day. So I need to see if that thing works. And I'm going to order the new hold down bolts and springs for the radiator, new springs and bolts for the pins on the fan that hold the fan to the water pump and the drive coupling. So yeah, that's where we're at on the 41M. Hopefully we can get it up and running here in the next couple weeks, because we need to do some mowing and a few other things out here, and that tractor would be kind of handy to have to do that with. So anyway, like I said, this is just kind of a little update on the A. Can't think of anything else right now that we haven't, or that we need to do or have already done to it. So if you guys have made it this far, thanks for listening to me babble, and let's get started. We'll see if we can get this water pump pulled apart tonight. Okay guys, I've got the water pump off the 41M up here on the bench. And I think the first thing we need to do is probably pull this packing nut off, and then we can slide the impeller out of it. Hopefully that'll come off fairly easy. I don't have a spanner wrench for those. Shouldn't be too tight in there. So hopefully with a hammer and a small chisel we can tap that and get it off of there. Looks like somebody at one time has used a pipe wrench on it once before. Can't tell if that's moving or not. I think it is. Looks like it moved a little. I think we're moving now. Yep. Can't tell if we're moving or if I'm just turning the... Let's go ahead and pull the... Should be able to pull this impeller out. Maybe. It's tight in the packing in there, but it's coming. She's coming. Shaft looks pretty good. There's a little bit of wear on it there, but not too bad. Set that off to the side. Okay. Now, maybe without that fighting us, maybe we can get that to come out of there. That's probably why that's a pretty blunt chisel too, because that's not the first time I've turned it around and used it as a punch. Hit the chisel, not your hand. I believe it is coming out of there. Oh yeah, she's loose. There we go. Packing nut off to the side. There's one, there's two. It should, from what I understand, be, yep, there's the third one. It's just stuck in there. Does not want to, ouch, come out of there. That very well could be. Original packing down in there. I know there's supposed to be 3 of them down in there. We'll dig the rest of it out here in a little bit. And we'll take this off, the set screw out. I don't think that's right either. was always under, every one of these I've ever seen had a set screw in it with a jam nut on it. This one has just had a square head bolt shoved down in it, which is kind of strange. I thought I had a little small punch in here. Let's move my sign so it doesn't get all screwed up. I need to hang that up on the wall. And this is the adjustable pulley for the belt, the fan belt. You tighten this up and it brings these pulley halves closer together. Tightens that fan belt up, tightens your tension. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to soak that with some oil. Let's see if we can get this off. I've probably got a socket that big under the bench. I may have to get it. Wow. Yep. I think we just need to soak that in some oil overnight. Both of those, this nut and the pulley. So I don't think I've moved it any, and I really don't want to break that. You can find those pretty easy, but as you can see, it's got a lot of slop in that bearing down in there. Okay, I've got the pulley to move a little. I took this back over to the tractor and put a couple bolts in it and was able to get this nut off. Okay. Now, I'll probably end up taking this with me to town, because I've been messing with it for a while and I've done chipped the tooth off of there just a little. But I think I can take it into town and where I can kind of clamp it somehow and really work with it. Oh, don't want to lose the spacer. I'm sure really where that spacer came out of. There's our play and our bearing right there. Oh, there's a spacer under that bearing. Oh. That bearing should come up out of there. But it is not wanting to. You can't say that the play in it was from lack of grease, because there is plenty of grease in that bearing. So I can't say that it's from lack of grease. There is plenty of grease in there. Oh, there she came, right on the floor. Oh. Yeah, there is definitely some wobble in that bearing. Like I said though, you can't claim that it was from lack of grease in that hub. Because that hub had plenty of grease in it. Plenty of grease in there. Okay, let's see if we can get this seal out. There's my seal puller right there. There we go. That old cheapo seal puller is not the greatest thing in the world. She just flat out don't want to come out of there. Ow, that was my finger. There we go. No wonder it didn't want to come out. Yeah, then that. bearing should come out of there fairly easily now, I would think. What? Yeah, it should slide on out of there now. There, she's moving. Don't ever hammer on a good bearing like that. But this one's getting replaced, so we can get a little rougher with it than I would with a new one. Okay. Yeah, that one's got even more slop in it than the other one did. That's not an international stamped bearing. That's a new departure 3207. So somebody evidently has been into this once before. Yep. That one's not an IH bearing neither. Okay, well. Anyway, we got all that apart. We will take this to town, and I will where I can kind of clamp that a little better and maybe put a little heat to it, and we'll see if we can get that hub apart without breaking that pulley housing. All right, guys, I think that about concludes this video. I'm gonna find a box here somewhere, and we'll take all these parts to town with me tonight. I'll take them to work tomorrow. One of these days, I'm gonna buy a parts washer to put out here. But I've actually got an old sink come out of the hospital in town that I've been thinking about modifying and making a big parts washer out of it. But haven't got that far yet. But I go to work Monday through Friday anyway. We've got a parts washer there. It's just easy to tear down everything here, box it up, take it down with me, and use parts washer there. So, and I'll get all this stuff cleaned up tonight, and need to order a couple more things. That's the only thing left I need to get for this, so I can put this back together, is that little felt dust seal that goes behind that pulley down in the main housing. Read on an internet forum that if you use double lip seals, you don't even really need it, because all it is just keep dust out. And I did order the double lipped seals for it when I ordered all the seals and bearings. But I'm gonna go ahead. It was in there. They're like $8-10. I need to order a bunch of other stuff anyway, so I'm just gonna go ahead and order it and get it coming. But I've still got to get that two-piece pulley apart. Hopefully I've already chipped the housing just a little, or the little ear on it just a little. I don't think it's going to hurt anything, but I did chip it just a little. So I don't want to get too much rough with it. I can take it to work tomorrow and get it all cleaned up real good, and then I can put it in the vise and try to work it back and forth and get it freed up. Or in there, I've got heat as well. I've got propane and MAP gas torch in there. I've got my welding truck sitting out here with oxyacetylene torch on it if I really needed some heat. But I don't think it's going to take that much. I didn't want to have to start it and move it up here, and I'd have to put the battery back in it to start it. I pulled the battery out the other day to stick in another pickup out here that I sold so that they could hear it turn over, and never have put the battery back in it yet. So I'd have to do all that. It's getting late and it's getting dark and I'm getting hungry. So I think we're going to cut this right here and be watching in the near future when I get the rest of the parts here and get all this cleaned up. We'll be going back together with this and getting it put back on the tractor. So anyway, I think that's going to do it for tonight, and we will see y'all next time. So have a good one, everybody.